Shifting focus now to Kenya, where the growing public anger is building pressure on President William Ruto, who has now been forced to speak up. Kenyan President William Ruto has for the very first time publicly acknowledged the abuse of power by his security forces. Ruto has admitted that there have been instances of excessive and extrajudicial actions by security personnel, though he did not clarify what these actions are. The public admissal comes amid a wave of controversial kidnappings that have reignited widespread protests. Many Kenyans have hit the streets again to rally against the series of recent unexplained abductions of government critics. As per reports, over 80 people in Kenya have been missing since June, when young Kenyans were on a march against tax hikes proposed by the Ruto administration. Protesters, activists and opposition blame the government for these abductions. Now, in the recent anti-abduction protests, several protesters have been detained, including opposition members.
We need to take action because the government, the people who are abducting or taking people, they are taking them with handcuffs and guns. So it can't be, after the financing protest of June, that is when this started. The crackdown that the government started, when the president went out on national television and said that he's going to go after the people who went to parliament, who invaded parliament. That is when the abductions kicked off. That is when they intensified. We believe it's the directive of the government.
Authorities had earlier denied that government engages in any extrajudicial abductions, but now it has come down to Ruto admitting to security abuses. In fact, he has given more statements lately reflecting on his climb-down approach. Ruto, who earlier called these abductions fake news, over the weekend he promised to put an end to them amid growing calls for government accountability. While President Ruto has finally acknowledged and promised action, the probe is still moving at a snail's pace. Now, that's not all. The Kenyan police have even failed to follow court orders on release of those detained as families grow desperate, demanding the release of their loved ones. Last week, the Nairobi High Court ordered Kenya's Inspector General of Police to personally produce in court by Tuesday 5 individuals who were abducted on Christmas Eve. Now, these are the most recent abductions to have taken place in Kenya. 2 of these abductees were taken shortly after sharing AI-generated images showing Ruto dead. However, the police failed to stand on the court order. Even the police inspector general did not show up and instead sent a representative in his place. So mere talk and promises might not be enough for Kenyans who demand action and accountability from the Ruto government.